Have you got an English literature exam coming up? Do you need to know loads of quotes to show that you know your stuff? My name is Lucy Parsons and I teach GCSE and A-level students study skills to help them get the top grades in their exams and into the best universities. And I'm here today to teach you how to memorise quotes like a pro for your English exam. Okay, the need to memorise quotes for a closed book exam is incredibly daunting. No doubt there are loads of quotes you have underlined in the text as being really important, and it just seems too much to know which are most important, let alone memorise them. I'm going to give you some tips and suggestions about how to memorise quotes for your English exam in a manageable and maybe even a fun way. Okay, tip number 1 is to break it all down into chunks. So instead of trying to remember 20 quotes from one text in half an hour, which is never going to work, choose the 5 most important ones and maybe focus on one for 5 minutes, and then a little while later focus on another for 5 minutes, and so on throughout the day. And this will make it much easier to remember them. Tip 2 is to concentrate on the main characters and themes. So don't try and learn all the quotes all at once. Instead, choose quotes that relate to the most important characters in your text and the most important themes in the text, and where possible, where the two overlap. And this will make your quote learning much more efficient and make the quotes that you learn much more useful in the actual exam. Tip 3 is to use index cards, 1 per quote. So put the quote on one side and then turn it over and put the key words from the quote just to trigger your memory to help you to remember what the entire quote is. My 4th tip is to use sticky notes around the house. So you can write the quote on the sticky notes and put them around the mirror where you brush your teeth, put them in your sock drawer, put them inside your school planner, put them inside your journal if you write one at night, so that every time you see one, you read it out loud to jog your memory of that quote. Tip 5 is to use pictures or art to help you remember. So you could write out the quote but using pictures instead of words. So you might use a heart for love, or cross swords for conflict or war or fighting or something like that. Or if it's a quote about love, you might put it inside a heart or something like that. Come up with your own kind of visual alphabet to try and replicate the words, a bit like hieroglyphics. Step 6 is to learn by doing, and you can do this by acting out the quotes. So this is great for quotes that come from plays. You can act out how the character would be speaking, the gestures they would be making as they're saying the quote. Or you could come up with different gestures for the different words in a similar way to how I talked about in the previous tip, that you would come up with different symbols or different pictures for each of the words. Tip 7 is to use read, cover, say and write. So look at a quote, read it, cover it, say it out loud and then write it down. And hopefully this process, repeated over and over again, will get you to remember your quotes. Tip 8 is to create a mind map to understand each quote. So write the quote in the middle and then underline different words in it, annotate around it to help you to really get to grips with what the quote is trying to convey, why the author has chosen particular words, and what all those words put together and maybe linking to other parts of the text really say as a whole. Tip 9 is to use visualization. So visualize the way the words look on the page, maybe use colour to help you do this, or just visualize yourself acting them out. Tip 10 is don't try to do it all in one go. So like I said at the beginning, break it down into bite-sized chunks. Yeah, do little and often and focus on a few at a time, and that will be so much more successful. Tip 11 is to start early. If you leave all this until the night before the exam, you're not going to be in the best position because you are going to be trying to cram. Whereas if you start early in the school year and keep coming back to these quotes, they will be committed to your long-term memory, and you'll probably be able to remember them for years into the future, not just for your exam. Tip 12 is to put it on repeat. So it's all about repetition. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Saying it, writing it, drawing it, acting it, doing all those different things to get those quotes fixed in your memory. And tip 13 is to test yourself with practice essays. After all, you're learning these quotes to put them into essays, so use them in essays by doing practice essays. And really, you're going to get the best marks anyway by really refining and perfecting your essay technique. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have, you can get much more detail if you go over to my blog post that goes with this video, which you can find at lifemoreextraordinary.com/memorise-quotes. And there you can also download a top quotations cheat sheet. And this cheat sheet enables you to identify the most important quotes by character and theme to ensure that your quote learning is as efficient as possible. So get that cheat sheet and get learning your quotes straight away. If you found this video useful, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's already loads of videos on the channel to help you get the top grades in your exams and into your first choice of university, but there'll be even more coming up in future weeks and months. Click the subscribe button now. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I wish you the very, very best of luck in your English literature exam.